What are you doing, Louis?
I'll just cut the end piece of wood to cover up that steel bar.
Oh, okay.
That's it, that's okay.
I've come to bother him, make him another cup of tea, but also to just like check on his progress.
Yeah, slow. Slow progress.
It looks like you measured that one all right.
Yeah.
What does Mr. Davis say?
Mr. Davis says measure 3 times golden, cut once. Just Mr. Davis, that's what I used to say. Mr. Davis said I was top of the class.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Well, it's no wonder really, because woodwork was the only class I ever turned up at. I'm just marking this up because those bolts are just protrude past this slightly, so I'll just put a little drill hole in here.
Because you're a perfectionist.
And then it won't push it out, but I don't think it is pushing it back.
But just in case.
Yeah, it is slightly. Yeah.
Like a fraction of a mil.
Yeah. Yeah. Tolerances is important.
Right then, we'll make your second cup of tea.
Thank you. So what I've been working on at the moment is how to reinforce all of this with no head in the doorway there. Because what's going to happen is when you go to lift the camper off the bed of the truck, generally the jacks are fitted here, it's going to crush this in. It's going to want to push that. So I had to come up with a way of lifting that weight without that happening. Now, excuse the rough sketch, but this is very rough. But this was the idea that I had and came up with. So let's go to the back now. So now I'm stood at the back of the camper, looking at this section here, particularly down here at the floor. So what I've done is made this reinforcing bar up. So I've made this steel bar that is 40 mil box section in the middle, and then I've strengthened it both ends, just sleeved it over, and I've just spot welded that in. So this will sit inside the camper floor like so. So that's now sat down here, and the jack will go in from here. So the jacks will go in from this side, each end. So this will be low down on the bed of the truck itself. And so the jack will go in. I'll get a bit of metal and show you. So this will slide in here. And the jack will sit on here. I'll take this over to the truck in a minute, hopefully explain it a little bit more clearer to you. So the jack will be welded onto this. We'll crank the jack up and it'll lift the back end of the camper from here. So you heard that stop in there. Just have to watch that motorbike. So what I've done is put some fixing bolts in here. So I've got to clamp it and glue it to this steel work, which is sandwiched in between these sections that I've started to make. So the 3 bolts here, these 2 earther bolts will stop the bar leg when it comes in, and then I'll fix an index pin here which stops that leg moving in and out. But we're a long way off that yet. So I'll bolt this down, and then this will all be inside the base of the truck and you won't see it. So we'll just take it over to the truck. It'll sit somewhere here in the truck bed. The tailgate's coming off. Again, we contemplated that, whether to leave it on, but that reduced the length of the camper. And it also is pretty high to get up here. So if the door drops down and it's got the built-in steps, that makes it much easier for us. So what I have is 4 of these, and these will crank up. So I've got to get from round to square, which isn't a problem. So I'll weld in a square tube here, and like I just showed you, that will slide it inside this bar, and then the leg will stick out there. So this will be somewhere here, and I'll be able to crank this up and lift this part of the camper up. All 4 legs will also be on wheels, because the idea is to be able to jack it up and then move it around over the top of the truck, rather than driving the truck backwards and forwards in and out. So that's the plan. At the front, I won't lift that because it's heavy. So obviously at the front end, I'll do exactly the same, make up the same sort of bar, and the bar will go inside the bulkhead section of the camper in here, and then the same method, the thing will slide in, index pin in there, the leg down here, obviously these front ones longer legs, crank them up, slide it in and out. And the other thing we do have a problem with is the slope, the ramp on the drive. To get the full length of the camper in here, it means the truck's got to be like a couple of feet up the ramp, which tilts the truck already. So I need to be able to independently lift the front end slightly higher than the back end, because the truck's going to sit at an angle when I'm loading the camper. Further than that, I should be able to wheel the camper out, with Jules' help of course, wheel it round here and put it over there. We're a long way off that. I don't quite know how long it's going to take to build. Someone asked me the other day and I said at least 6 months, but it could be longer. So this morning's job is to bond this down, bolt this all in. I could have just put a complete sleeve along here, but I'm trying to keep the weight down as much as possible, so that's why I put the small sections in. But I've then obviously got to make this space up, so I've cut some 3mm hardboard just to slot in there, and glue all this together, but you'll see as that comes together. So I'll crack on and do that. I'll just show you a couple of panels that I've glued up now. So these are really nice and light, which is the whole idea. So I've got the XPS and the 5mm plywood bonded onto that. So I left that overnight, and you can't get that off, that's solid. So these will all go in here, glued down, and the little lip that goes around the edge will sit in the steel frame, which I'll show you later on exactly how that's coming together. So I'll get cracking, get the glue out, get some more tools in and get on with it. So I'll just put some masking tape down here. This obviously is the baseboard, the underside, and I've got to glue all these faces together, and I don't want to glue anything to this. So I know I'm going to get a glue spillage seep over the edge. Sleeve is probably what I need, but yeah, I'll get glue seepage, and I don't want it to bond to that at all, so I'll just masking tape that off. So I'll glue this spacer in here first, and then glue this in. These will go under here just to fill this gap, so when it's glued and compressed it doesn't squash the outside material. Some more on top. And then that one on top. When it's all clamped and compressed, that's pretty much level here. And then the final sheet of plywood will come over the top, screwed, glued, and then on the outside here I'll cut a piece of 10mm plywood that will just sit in here, and I'm using 10mm so I can just recess it enough so this bolt head isn't in the way when these bolts go through. Trust me, they do go through. So I'll just recess the plywood so that's all sits flush. Glue it, screw it, clamp it, and then leave it for a day, let it all set.